Hey, everybody, welcome back to Pump Your Coin. I hope you're ready to swallow that orange pill and follow us down into the rabbit hole. Good morning, Tom. How you doing?
I am doing fantastic today. Yesterday was a little bit of a rough day, though, Justin, right? We saw the dip. It actually blew my mind. I don't know about you.
I don't know that it blew my mind. I guess now that I've been in crypto for a year and a half, nothing surprises me anymore, and I feel like that these things are just planned, and it doesn't even faze me anymore. Although I'd be lying if I said I wasn't sweating a few bullets.
Yeah, I mean, it was such a dramatic drop, which I guess I'm used to by now. I started in 2018. I think I'm early. Some people are saying I'm late, but I got it in a good time, and I've seen a lot of these kind of drops. But when you start getting that positive momentum, you just feel like you're invincible, right? You get that FOMO stage going in your head, and then all of a sudden you get punched right in the gut. And then that's life in crypto, man. That's just life in crypto.
That's it. It's high highs, low lows, and there's very little in between. We don't hum along at a simple pace very long. You're either skyrocketing up to the moon or you're dropping right back down into the dirt.
Yeah. So I want to discuss a few things that happened during that dip, though. So I had some cash sitting on the side. I was waiting to enter into the market, waiting for a dip like that. And so I used two different exchanges. I used Coinbase and Voyager, and I had issues with both of them buying when the dip was really going down. I mean, I tried to re-up on some more Cardano. I'm not Cardano, but Ethereum at $3,000. I tried to buy Solana at 150, and I just kept getting site maintenance, insufficient. I got insufficient funds messages. I couldn't buy it. I actually ended up getting Ethereum at 3,500. As it bounced back up when my transaction went through. So I was a little disappointed in the exchanges of how that worked out. And this is a repetitive thing that happens all the time. And there needs to be some sort of action. They really need to get their proverbial head out of their ass. Coinbase is a multi-billion dollar company. They can't afford to have these outages, at critical times when people want to buy. It just feels like the system is, we already know the system is screwing the common man, but Coinbase, you don't have to add to it.
And Coinbase isn't the only one. I'm spent. I'm done with Voyager at this point. I don't know if you remember back in early December when Doge was going through its big super hype phase, and they were down for like 3 days, and it just kept saying, system upgrade in progress, and I was sitting there defending them going, hey, look, nobody could have imagined this amount of hype coming out, with Doge and this much capacity requirement that they need. So let's give them a chance to upgrade. Let's give them a chance to scale. Let's give them a chance to do what they want to do. And they got a free pass in December for me. But then it hit in May, and of course the same problems, right? With the big dip in early May, the same problems. And then of course, yesterday, same thing. They haven't learned their lesson. And so the lesson for me is to move my money and my crypto out of Voyager and get into a more reliable, either centralized or decentralized exchange, right? Really the only way you can get in is to come through a centralized exchange, right? To make your initial purchases. But I'm going to be getting off Voyager as quickly as I can possibly get off Voyager. Even for the last, it's been, you and I went into this Mutant Ape Yacht Club venture together. We talked about that yesterday, and I owe you some Ethereum, right? So I was trying to purchase Ethereum, and I have to make, to buy Ethereum. It's not like Ethereum was cheap. At least it wasn't 2 days ago. It is a lot better today. But as I was trying to deposit the money, there's a limit on there of how much you can put in per day. And I put the max amount in the first day, and 2 days later, I put the max amount in again. And then 3 days later, so 6 days in total that I'm working with, I tried to put in another deposit, and I have no available balance. They won't release any of it. My bank shows it pending for 6 days. Voyager shows it pending for 6 days, but nobody wants to let me spend my money and buy this dip. So I'm spent with Voyager. I'm done with them altogether. This is my last hurrah with them for sure.
Yeah, I certainly would entertain switching over to somebody who operated a lot faster and didn't have these shuts down. It's just, It's just ridiculous. I'm trying. It's hard. It's easy to FOMO in, but when those dips come, that's the huge opportunity that we get, where we can get, a 25, 30, 50%, retracement back up, where we can capitalize on these markets, capitalize on the dips, and make a lot of money. So I agree with, when you find that exchange, let me know. I want a centralized exchange. I'm not a techie guy like you are, so I prefer to have somebody else custody my crypto as much as I can. I wish my bank would custody my crypto, because then I'd just put it all over there. I know that the maxis don't like that, but that's where I think that, not for sure. But I think that's certainly the future of this market of crypto, is that we're going to have a trusted third party, whoever it may be. It might be Coinbase. It might be somebody else. It might be the CBDC wallet that the United States government issues. I don't know, but I need to trust somebody to hold my money, and I need to know it's going to be there, and I need a phone number to call whenever I have a problem. And so, once these, we're still so early in this that these things are all going to be worked out in the short run. I think in 5 years we're going to see a total different world of crypto. The way adoption is going up, and the tech is going up, and what's going on. Even the stuff you're bringing me in on Cardano, I'm just super excited about where we're heading.
Yeah, so many cool opportunities. And they were saying, I just saw a thing today. There are 60,000 wallets connected to OpenSea.io, right? But it's not easy to set up a wallet. Even a simple MetaMask wallet, which in the crypto verse is pretty simple, relatively speaking. But if you're not techie, I wouldn't feel comfortable doing it, because there's a whole lot that you need to keep in your mind, right? You have to have a pen or pencil and paper, and then you got to put your 24-word seed phrase on that paper, never put it online. And then you got to put it in a fireproof safe, put your fireproof safe in a regular safe, put your regular safe. I'm just kidding. But that is kind of the extent you have to go, right? And a lot of people, Vitalik has hit one of his, at his home, wherever he's at now, and then one up in Canada. And when was it SafeMoon? Who was it that did their
Shiba Uno?
Shiba Inu, yeah. They sent, he had to get the seed phrase from his mom, to be able to get rid of it. So it's certainly interesting to be able to get rid of it and start a new wallet and reactivate that wallet. It's definitely not in a user-friendly state right now. But neither was the internet in the beginning, right? Like, there was a whole lot of craziness and hairy situations in the internet in the early days. And so that's where we're at. And that's what I always try to remind people. This is kind of my thing, is when I tell them, hey, it's 1995. The internet is staring you in the face. What are you going to do? How are you going to make money? If you just sat there and you know what's happening, you have, the Marty McFly time machine, and you can go back to 1995. Are you going to just sit there and do nothing? Or would you invest in AOL at the time and Google later and Facebook later? Or would you build your own website? Or would you build your own entire platform on the internet? Or would you just sit there and go, it's going to do something cool one day. I'll just wait for it to happen. You're there right now. You need to jump in. This is the new internet. This is your opportunity. If you missed it back then, or you weren't alive back then, now is the time. Get in.
No, I agree 100%. Anybody who's sitting on the sideline is crazy. It's the internet, it's the financial system, it's real estate. It's like our total addressable market is something like $600 trillion. It's just such an incredible opportunity for people who are just watching what's going on. Just do this math with me, Justin, okay? Right now, there's 150 million people on crypto, buying crypto, using crypto, have wallets, and it doubles every year, okay? So let's do the math when we're going to be at full saturation. 150 million, 300 million, 600 million, 1.2 billion, 2.4 billion, 4.8 billion. 6 years. That's all we have to wait for full saturation. And if the price goes up 200% a year, do the math on that. We're talking millions and millions of dollars per Bitcoin. Millions. Didn't Fidelity come out the other day with a chart they were giving to their investors? I think we talked about it, that they were saying 10, 20, $50 million, but they even had a projection at $1 billion by like 2035. I mean, that is insane. That is insane that this is the kind of growth we're going through. This is, and nobody knows. Justin, you don't know. I don't know. I don't know who's going to win. I don't know who's going to be the most adopted. I don't know if it's Dogecoin, Shibu. I don't know if it's Cardano, Ethereum. I just know who the best ones are right now. That's Bitcoin and Ethereum. And I know the trajectory. The Titanic. I know the trajectory that we are headed in, and you guys either need to get on the boat or you're just going to watch everybody else get rich. What is the saying? Stay happy being poor. Is that it? Stay happy being poor?
Well, that's definitely that's the epitome of the crypto universe right now, right? That's what everybody says. If you're not in and around, you don't want in. Stay happy being poor, right? Or that's it.
That's right. That's right. So the dip yesterday, So, I thought it was, and we talked about this, one of the most special days in the history of crypto. It is the day that El Salvador had Bitcoin as one of its national currencies. The American dollar is the second. They had the choice between which one they want to use. They can take Bitcoin and immediately change it to dollars, or take dollars and change it to Bitcoin. And I was upset because of the dip. And, because President Bukele just bought, I think it was like, a few $100 million worth of Bitcoin, or $150 million of the Bitcoin. And then the price tanks 20%. But he put out a tweet yesterday, Justin, that just rocked me. That made me think, I love this guy. He is a crypto enthusiast to the core. I don't know if it's only Bitcoin or not, but he said, thank you, IMF. He was blaming the IMF for causing the dip. Monetary Fund, yeah.
Yep, International Monetary Fund.
Blaming them for the dip, which I get it, right? These people that are in charge, these people that prosper because of the current monetary system, they have a vested interest on that day, yesterday, right? Yesterday, the first country to put Bitcoin on their balance sheet causes a dip. They caused the dip, they facilitated it, and what did Bukele said? Thanks for causing the dip, we bought more. We bought more.
We bought the dip.
We bought the dip. Bukele, I love you, man. Thank you for everything you've done to this space. You've taken us to the next level, and now we're just waiting for the rest of the dominoes to fall.
Yeah, he's a true visionary leader, really. I mean, you look at the people like him, the mayor of Miami, fully embracing crypto. They're actually putting a number of their infrastructure on crypto or on blockchain. Of course, they accept Bitcoin. They actually offer to pay their government employees, their city employees, in Bitcoin. You watch places like Wyoming, like we talked about yesterday, and the senator there. And then you watch places that are just totally backwards thinking, right? Like New York City, in the state of New York, where you have to have, this really extensive, drawn out, expensive license that pretty much eliminates anybody from participating in crypto in New York. It's insane. Like, if you want to watch one of the greatest cities in the world fall, don't let it use crypto. That's the best way to watch your major city fall. So what's interesting to me, at least on this, is, and again, I had to be around a year and a half to really accept this. So another saying in crypto is buy the rumor, sell the news. And of course, the first time I heard that, I didn't really know what it meant. And I think it was around probably early spring, like maybe late winter time, like February or something, when Cardano got listed on Coinbase. And there was a big buildup. Cardano was going up in value. And then sure enough, the day it got listed, it dropped, right? So the day it actually happens, you can almost always account on a dip. If you're a buy and hold investor, who cares? Buy more, right? Like, just increase your dollar cost averaging on those days that you know that it's actually going to happen. But I had no doubt in my mind that the FUD would kick in and that it wasn't going to go through the roof. It was going to drop. And so I think I was a little better prepared than probably anybody who was new to the space or riding this FOMO wave of the most recent bull run we've had. I think it's coming back. I don't know. You don't know. I think it's coming right back. In fact, I'm doing this recording on my phone, and I just had a coin index notification come up that said Ethereum's up 5.32% in the last 2 hours. So it's coming right back.
Yeah, I had no doubt that the momentum was definitely headed up. We're going to be there. I do believe in these. I don't know whose prediction for the end of the year is correct, because there's some reasonable conservative ones, and then there's some crazy ones. Like Dan Held talks about the super cycle, that we can just be in such an extreme case of adoption that the price is just going to go up exponentially into the millions. Now, could that happen? I'm not sure I can grasp that in my mind, but I certainly see much, much higher prices, at the end of this year, beginning of next year. And I agree about we're going to be out of the 4-year cycle. I can't, not that we won't have dips, not that we won't have a 50% retracement, but I think with the corporate adoption, everything that's going on, if an EFT gets approved, that we're gonna dump this 4-year cycle, because it's not about retail buyers anymore, right? It's about the hedge funds. It's about the millionaires, the billionaires, everybody. The country is getting involved. Everybody as a community getting involved is going to eliminate that dip. But I still question whether or not how much manipulation is in the market. Who can really cause it yesterday to make it go down 20% in such a short period of time? I heard there was like all these longs, Bitcoin longs out there, and everything follows Bitcoin. So I heard they were liquidated. These longs were liquidated, and then I hear the IMF from Bukele, and but the truth is I don't really know what happened. All I know is when it goes down, I double up my DCA, my dollar cost averaging. When it goes up, I keep it a little more conservative. So it's a win-win no matter what happens. I'm in this for the long run. I don't know though, if the next year, if next year is the same as the last year, I might have to retire on a beach somewhere, Justin.
Nobody would blame you for sure either if you did. Gosh, I can only imagine. I wish I had gotten in. Everybody says that, right? Wish I'd gotten in just a little bit sooner. I'm certainly not upset with where I'm at, for sure. You mentioned the 4-year cycle. I just wanted to make sure that we tell people, if some of our audience may not know what that 4-year cycle is, exactly what we're talking about. Do you want to explain that?
Sure. So Bitcoin is on this deflationary cycle of the amount of Bitcoin it issues to the miners. Okay, so every 4 years that gets cut in half. So the theory is that the amount of Bitcoin issued gets cut in half. In order to make the miners profitable, the price needs to double. The price needs to go up in order for them to still be profitable. So approximately, I believe that it's like 90 days to 6 months after the halvening. They call it the halvening. The price, they go through a big spike. And you can see, if you look at the Bitcoin chart, every 4 years, this has been consistent in halvening. And now the theory is that's going to be over, because, really before it was, it was people, I say it's people trying to get rich. I'm trying to get rich on crypto, and I hope I'm buying the right ones. But it's just retail buyers, not hedge funds or family offices who are looking for long-term wealth, long-term gains. When they get into the market, it stabilizes the market. We'll probably not see as great as upside to it, but also not as much downside whenever we have these cycles.
Yeah, it's not about the diamond hands, right? The diamond hands are holding forever. They're not causing it. It's the paper hand retail investors that really cause any of the dips. Not any of the dips, but that probably get out of the market faster than the diamond hands. What's interesting is these events are not caused by paper-handed retail investors, right? It's not a retail investor who's super excited at this particular moment in time that I just heard, El Salvador is, making Bitcoin. It's, one of its currencies. Those are not the people that are selling and starting this, right? It's definitely the whales out there trying to manipulate the normal folks like you and me and our audience to out of their coins that are really causing these. And then it's followed by a rush of those retail people who are trying to mitigate losses.
Right. I know I got in I've got a lot of people into crypto, and you can tell within the first 6 months, they're very apt to sell. They're very willing to sell. They don't fully understand, and I'm going to tell you that of the 20 or 30 people I got into crypto, I don't know if any of them have actually did the 1,000 hours to fully understand what decentralization means, what a blockchain really is. They can go through the motions and buying it, but I think they're just looking to get rich. They don't see that long-term vision. It's not until you do that time before you see the long-term vision. So, you know, they put the money in. The minute they see a 20% dip, they're thinking, oh my God, I'm going to lose it all. I could lose it all because of the FUD. And then they pull their money out where we know now, you know, we know that you have to be in it for the long term. You know, if you're not in it for 5 years, I'm not sure I would get into it if you're not in it for 5 years. But if you can withstand 5 years, or you can dollar cost average in, you'll grow great wealth beyond your dreams. And, you know, that's what I'm looking forward. And that's what I want to help other people get to. That, you know, I want to pass that on to them. And the best thing, Justin, is I make nothing off it, right? I make nothing.
Nothing. You just want to help people.
Yeah. I want everybody to be rich. I want everybody to be wealthy. I want everybody, you know, the system is so rigged that we live in right now, Justin, right? I mean, you got to be an accredited, right? Listen, you got to be an accredited investor in order to get into early aspects of projects, right? Yep. What does that mean? That means your net worth has got to be over $1 million or more. Okay. So in other words, you got to be a millionaire in order to put your money in early stage projects in order to make a lot more money. So that leaves what? 90% of the population out of that mix. And so we just have to, the only thing we can do is, right, the average retail investors is put money into stocks. Hopefully you pick Amazon when they're down 95% and they get thousands of percent up, you know, but we don't have that opportunity like the rich people. Crypto is the first time that we have the same opportunity as anybody else to get involved with something early stages of crypto that can bring enormous wealth.
Yeah, you know, so a few things on that, right? I have, first, let me thank you, right? So of your 20 or 30 people you've introduced to crypto, I am one of them. And I may be the only one who has put in at least 10,000 hours into researching this. I mean, certainly, I think we have a pretty similar morning ritual, right? Wake up, check your phone, look at where the market's at today, watch 2, 3, 4 YouTube videos on cryptocurrency, one while you're showering, maybe one while you're working out, 2 on your drive to work, maybe 2 or 3 at lunch. You're probably peeking at your phone 8, 9, 10 times before lunch, 8, 9, 10 times between lunch and dinner. And then you go home and you talk about it and your wife just goes, can you please talk about something else?
Hey, real quick, Justin. So my wife switched her job. She's got a new job now, right? So she gets ready the same time as me in the morning. So she's listening to some music over here and I'm trying to listen to my podcast. I'm like, you got to go back to your old job. I need my bathroom time so I can listen to all my podcasts and get my news. But you're right, 100%. I'm like addicted to it. There's not a period of time. Even my kids, I make my kids listen to, you know, we listen to the Future of Money podcast, you know, What is Money podcast, you know, anything Bitcoin, you know, the future of technology, the future of VR. You know, I'm putting my kids into this permanent state of learning so that they're going to grow up with the knowledge that they need to grow up with. I didn't grow up with this knowledge. I didn't learn this knowledge until I was in my 40s, you know, but it's vastly improved my net wealth, my intellect, you know, my ability to enter new projects and to build, it's built happiness, Justin. It's built happiness because money doesn't make you happy, but certainly being able to afford a steak dinner makes me a little bit happier. So I'm so lucky that I got into the space.
Yeah, it probably shifts my enjoyment around a little bit, right? And like you said, my kids, you know, for example, my son was here from the Army this weekend, and he needed a Keurig, a coffee pot. He doesn't have a coffee pot. And so I said, well, I'll buy you the coffee pot. And it was whatever, $150 or whatever it was. And I said, but the only rule is, and this has been a pretty consistent rule, what you were going to spend on that, you have to buy some Cardano or Ethereum right now. And I've been doing that with the kids. When I owe them money or I tell them I'm going to give them gas money, I don't send them cash anymore. I only send them crypto. Like my son, when I owed him money for paying for something that I told him I'd pay for, all right, I'm going to send you some ADA. Don't worry about it. I got you. And, you know, over the last 7-8 months, I mean, my 18-year-old, he just turned 19 this month. My 19-year-old son, he's been able to acquire a few Ethereum. He's got a handful of Ethereum already. He's got a few thousand Cardano. He's got a good chunk of Bitcoin. And he's just been dollar cost averaging in. And kind of anytime he had a little bit of extra money, he puts it in and he forgets about it. He doesn't trade it. He doesn't know. It's funny. I talked to him this weekend and we were driving and I said, hey, have you checked on your Cardano lately? And he's like, not really. And he looked at it and he's like, holy crap, it was almost $3 when he saw it, and he bought it, or sent it all around or under $1. And so, his investment since December has tripled. So it's really good. It's just fun watching your kids kind of the light go on when they see stuff happening. And I that's probably one of my favorite things, at least in the space and learning this and being able to pass that on to my kids.
Yeah, and they get addicted when they see that growth. They're gonna, there's weeks where my middle son, he'll make more money than he does working, right? So he's like, Dad, I didn't even have to go to work this week. It gets them addicted to the whole process, the whole system. And I love that you send the Cardano to them, forcing them to use their wallet, forcing them to change it over. That's great. I haven't got to that level yet, but mine are still young. But I will get them there. 100%, I'll get them there.
Perfect. I even did it for my fantasy football league. We became a full crypto. I had everybody send it in crypto. If they didn't know how, I either showed them how or I converted it and we put it into 4 different cryptos. Our pot, before yesterday, was doing really well. So I'm not going to show them that screenshot for a couple days until it recovers. So, hey guys, if you're watching, and I hope you are, you heard none of that. For sure.
Yeah, he shouldn't have put it in Cardano.
Well, that was the least amount of dip, so it was the safest place to be. Yeah, I did want to touch on that, and this is not even necessarily. Well, I guess it will. It always falls into our standard chatter, right? Yesterday, with these massive dips, and there was a huge Ethereum NFT project that came out. It was called 7, and I think the basic concept of it was to provide a little bit of utility. In the fact that they were these 10,000 anime characters and they were in street clothes, and the street clothes are actually being produced as real clothing as one-of-one articles. So you had one-of-one NFTs with one-of-one articles. Now you don't automatically get that, but they'll be sold. And the project, it basically destroyed Ethereum. I mean, it literally, between the market kind of tanking yesterday and this huge project and the overwhelming amount of transactions, gas fees frequently throughout the day yesterday, over $5,000. They got up to $8,500 to mint a single 0.1 Ethereum coin. Like literally 2.5 Ethereum cost just in transaction fees. I don't know how Ethereum gets through that, right? I mean, I really hope, and I hope for your sake and my sake, because I'm heavily invested in Ethereum as well, right? That they figure this out, because the common person cannot pay. No common person can pay $8,500 to send, $10 from me to you.
Well, absolutely. And that's in its roadmap. That's the plans for 2.0. They're supposed to dramatically bring down the fees. When we get to sharding, it's going to bring them down even more. So it's part of the roadmap. We know that it is Park Place, right? Ethereum is Park Place. It's expensive to be. It's where everybody wants to be. Some people can't afford it. A lot of people can. The hedge funds can. The decentralized finance can. The amount of money that people are putting in decentralized finance, the family offices can. They all can. All right. The retail buyers can't. But certainly in the near future, we're talking December 2.0. Right? They're going to merge the 2 chains, and we're going to see a dramatic decrease in those prices. I hope we see a dramatic decrease in those prices, because I do agree that long-term sustainability with Ethereum those prices need to go down. Those prices need to be a penny or less than a penny. I agree with you 100% on that. I just think that they have the most momentum, the biggest network, and the most developers, without a doubt, in all those areas, and they have the best chance of winning. And that's why I put most of my eggs behind Ethereum.
Yeah, and I don't disagree that they're positioned best currently, but Solana is coming up quickly, right? And I'm actually sitting here going, am I betting on the wrong project? Because Solana is sexy right now. It's really sexy. The only thing that and this is something I was reading up on it today, in proof of stake, the network is supported just like miners, right? Rather than miners, these are nodes that validate transactions on proof of stake. So they have the same essential purpose behind them. But, in Bitcoin, it's, $16,000 or so to get a halfway decent miner to be able to participate in the game. And in Ethereum, it's kind of the same, right? You can't find GPUs, so you have to have those really expensive computers to kind of keep things up and running, the ASICs. And then Cardano is on, and I say this just to give perspective to everybody, right? In Cardano, it's about $100 to get up and running and run a stake pool. You actually have to pay a 500 Cardano ADA registration fee, but you get that back. So it's not really a cost; it's an investment, that you get back if you ever take it down. But then Solana, this is the one thing that scares me about Solana. It's blazing fast and it's super cheap transactionally. Those are two amazing things and two things this space absolutely needs. However, to run a validator node on Solana, the average cost based on the GPU, CPU requirements, the network, the bandwidth, etc., it's about a $5,000-ish investment to get a node. And then that's a one-time investment to just get up and running. And now you have to have this Google Business, can't think of what it's called, but it's Google Business something, and it's $5,500 per month to stay online and be a Solana validator. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm sure the rewards that they give make it more than worth it, but it's certainly a barrier to entry that is not going to encourage decentralization by the small guy, right? Like the average Joe is not going to be able to pump out 10 or 15 grand to get started in hopes that they will mint a block. So that's the only, that for me at least, there's a small roadblock there for Solana as well.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, and I mean, if you listen to the sentiment of the industry, I think they say that Ethereum's the most secure, and that's why all the expensive transactions are happening on Ethereum. Solana and Cardano, where all the small transactions are happening because the price is so much cheaper, the transaction fee is so much cheaper. But when Ethereum gets there, will they move to the Ethereum network? Is there a case that says they'll all move over? Because they're not as secure, they're not as decentralized as Ethereum. Will they get there? I'm not sure. But that's kind of the sentiment that I hear in the industry. If you're doing a $10 transaction, you don't give a crap about decentralization. You don't care who's running the transaction. You probably don't even want to know who's running the transaction as long as it works. And that's where I think these cheaper chains work out, are better for the retail investor right now. I'm thinking that's going to change in the future. And if it does, there's predictions of Ethereum going that some people are saying Raoul Paul said what, $20,000 to $40,000 and by March? By March?
Well, then you and I might be on that beach together if that happens.
We are out of here, baby. We are out of here. No, you know what we do though? I mean, I know Justin's in tech. I'm in retail. I'm, and I think what we would do is we would leave what we do and then go find a passion project in this space. I certainly believe that's where my future is. I'm 49 years old. I'm not ready to hang up my bags, but in a year or two, I can see you and I going to El Salvador and setting something up down there.
I'm definitely down for that. This is where my passion, and I'm always working towards that, right? Get this day job and move towards a passion project. And that's definitely where I want to wind up. All right, Tom, as we wrap up, first, guys, if you've watched us this long, you've probably at least enjoyed the content a little. Give us a thumbs up. Give us a thumbs down if you didn't like our content. Give us a comment and make sure you subscribe today. Hey, Tom, any last thoughts?
No, I'm just, I bought the dip. I'm excited. I have a little more money on the sidelines. I'm waiting for another dip. I don't know if I'm going to get more involved in Solana. I did buy some Algorand too. So I'm real excited about that project to see how that works out with the CBDC, the central bank digital currency in the United States, because it's coming. It's certainly coming. So, hey, I look forward to every day in this market. Every day is exciting. No 2 days are the same. So I'm just going to keep dollar cost averaging in.
That's it. DCA away. That's it. And I wish I had some great words of wisdom to send you guys out on, but I don't. I think what Tom said was fantastic. I'm going to let you guys wake up from the orange pill, go back to the real world. But when you do, and you get there and you realize, hey, I really want to be a part of this, we're going to give you that permanent orange pill. We're going to let you join us, and you're going to enjoy your life a whole heck of a lot more. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be educational, and you're going to find a whole world that exists that you had no idea was out there before. Thanks a lot, everybody. See you later.